This is the RV Game Changer. In this podcast, we will speak with manufacturing leaders, component suppliers, dealers, subsector innovators, influencers, and industry experts who all believe RVing is good for our environment, it's good for our economy, it's great for our family values and overall well-being. With your help, we can improve the RV experience for everyone. All right, today on RV Game Changer, we are happy to have Alyssa, Javadi, and Will Jackson of Harvest Hosts Partnership Team. Founded in 2010, Harvest Hosts is a membership program that provides RVers access to a network of over 5,000 wineries, farms, breweries, museums, and other unique attractions that invite self-contained RVers to visit and stay overnight for a small, I'd call it nominal, yearly membership fee. As I mentioned before, Alyssa and Will work for the partnership team for Harvest Hosts. They work to cross-market and collaborate with dealers, manufacturers, RV experts, and influencers. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce you to Alyssa Javadi and Will Jackson. Welcome to RV Game Changer.
Hi. How's it going, Bernie? We're excited to be here.
Yeah, it's very exciting to have you, And for, those who haven't heard about Harvest Hosts, it seems to be almost a daily conversation these days. What is Harvest Hosts and what is its mission?
Yeah, I think you did a really great job with that intro. What's left to say, right?
Yeah, that's okay. Have at it.
So I'll be the ad pitch here. So Harvest Hosts, as you mentioned, is a membership program that allows RVers to overnight at unique locations such as breweries, farms, wineries. We have drive-in movie theaters. We have so many attractions, churches, everything that you can think of all over the country and also up in Canada.
Right. That's fantastic. And so let's go over its mission, because that's an important part of your day-to-day business. What happens at Harvest Hosts is based on this mission.
Yeah, so our mission, as it shows on the screen, is to help millions of people live happier lives through road travel while supporting wonderful small businesses and communities along the way. I think one of the biggest things to know about Harvest Hosts is our hosts locations, the small businesses in our platform, do not pay to be part of our program. We do not pay them to be part of our program. We are sending folks to small communities and businesses to support their local economy.
Right. That's fantastic. And tell us some of the benefit. Back up for a second. I saw one picture there with someone I think I know. There was a little like golden doodle with a gentleman sitting on some stairs. Is that Mark Bennett by any chance?
It is.
Yeah, he's a good friend of mine, and him and Julie have been doing their thing since 2014, and I know that they work with you folks too. Tell us a little bit about how this specifically will benefit a host family if they become part of Harvest Host.
Yeah, so are you talking about members that are traveling in their RVs or the small business?
I'm sorry, the host families that have the locations such as, a winery, a brewery, or a farm or whatever.
Yeah, so we have about 250,000 active members right now.
Mm-hmm.
And what we do is connect them to those small businesses. So in exchange for staying overnight, we ask that they support the small business by a $25 to $30 spend at the business.
Well, that's fantastic.
So not only are they getting a monetary contribution to their business, but they're also meeting folks on the road that maybe they would have never met before.
Yeah, making their lives more interesting, but better, supporting these farms that, oftentimes you find out that farms, especially small privately owned ones, they struggle a little bit to make ends meet, right? It costs a lot of money. A friend of mine's a farmer up in New Hampshire, and the amount of money he spends to keep his farm active is extraordinary, and the time and the energy and the endless hours. And now this gives them a little bit of, what my mom used to call mad money to be able to, actually, benefit from all that hard work, right?
Yeah. And I can't remember the number off the top of my head, but it was It was tens of millions of dollars that our members put back into small
Wow.
communities
So
like
that's not a little amount of money.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
It's a lot.
That's a lot. So Will, tell us a little bit. I'm going to put up this slide here, but you have 250,000 members, but look at this map and describe what this map means to you in Harvest Hosts and their members.
Yeah, this is a great example that just shows for our classic plan, how many host locations we have in North America. You can see the different through the pins on the bottom. You can see the different types of farms, wineries, breweries, golf courses, and then on top of that, attractions. So attractions like Alyssa was saying earlier, it could be a drive-in theater, it could be a church, it could be an abandoned missile silo.
Wow.
There's hundreds of different unique locations that we have. We have bison ranches, we have alpaca farms, lavender farms. Alyssa, I can't think of another unique one right now because I'm on the spot, but this goes on and on.
Yeah, I bring up a picture for you to help you out a little bit.
Yeah, thanks. I was going to tell you, Bernie, so you brought up Mark and Julie. The reason I found out about Harvest Hosts, my parents became full-time RVers in 2020, and they were in Colorado, parked next to Mark and Julie, and they found out about Harvest Hosts because of that. And they actually stayed at an abandoned missile silo.
Oh, wow.
In Kansas. They were raving about it. And then a couple years later, I was hitting up Harvest Hosts and saying, you have to hire me. And yeah, there they are.
Yeah, there they are at a farm. I don't exactly know where. It could be in Colorado. They spend a lot of time out in that general vicinity. And I asked them about why the sheep wore jackets, and Mark's out there with his short sleeve shirt on. I think he just wants to show his nice strong arms or whatever.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
That's actually a Harvest Host photo shoot that we worked with them. That's a Harvest Host location they were staying at. I think it's the quintessential Harvest Host location. You park in the middle of a field of sheep. You're surrounded by mountains. There's no one near you. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it looks spectacular. And I had the pleasure of speaking with them in detail a couple of days ago. And that's going to be on the RV Game Changer as well. And they wholeheartedly support the mission of Harvest Hosts. But, I want to talk a little bit about some concerns that couples have when they're trying to look for a campground. Sometimes it actually can create a personal issue or even a relationship issue. Let's share that with our viewers here.
More than 50% of RVers suffer from CD, many without even knowing it.
I used to get excited before our RV trips, but then I started having issues. Camping issues. Like I just lost that spark for pulling into the spot for the night. No matter how much I wanted to, I just couldn't get into it. And it wasn't just affecting me. It was upsetting her too.
Every time we tried to go RVing, it was the same thing. No, literally, the exact same thing. Over and over again.
Where's the excitement, the butterflies, the feeling you can't wait to rip open your RV door and explore? Not here.
I knew it was CD, but I was too embarrassed to talk about it.
Camping dysfunction, or CD, can affect any RVer, anytime, anywhere. But you no longer have to suffer in silence. You can take action.
That's when I found out about Harvest Hosts.
So I have to say, I watched that video and I get a little uncomfortable, and I'm wondering, when's he going to sell us a pill of some sort, right? But,
no
it happens
necessary,
to so many people. And I hear it from my customers. I hear people walking in, oh, it's a horror story. People can't find campgrounds. I want to go camping, but I can't, where am I going to go camping, Bernie, And the first words out of my mouth are Harvest Hosts, right? And
we love to hear it.
Yeah. And the reason, part of it is that, the company I work for, Campers in RV, they actually partner with you and they work with you to help people better understand the benefits of Harvest Hosts. So, Will, this is kind of up your alley, right? Talk about the manufacturers, dealers that you work with, and why that's an important part of their business model.
Yeah, that's a great point. First, I want to back up to that campaign we did. Our brand director, that was her baby. It was incredible. We've seen great feedback from it. It's hilarious. I've seen it hundreds of times, and I still laugh every single time that the announcer comes out and starts talking about it.
With a suit on, right?
Yeah, with a suit on, yeah.
Yeah,
it's great. Yeah, so the thing that about Harvest Hosts in working with dealerships, campers in and manufacturers, and we work with a lot of the big ones, is that Harvest Hosts answers a question of where am I going to take this RV? People aren't buying an RV to keep it in their driveway. They're not buying it to put it in a storage unit and pay extra. The benefit of having Harvest Hosts is that for a small nominal fee, you have over 5,000 locations. You're able to take this the second it leaves the lot. You saw that map earlier of about 5,500 locations that you can bring or go to with your spouse, your kids, by yourself, a solo traveler, you name it. There are thousands of places you can go and experience things that are different than campgrounds. Campgrounds and RV parks are overcrowded. They're getting smaller and smaller. They're getting more expensive. And looking at that slide that you just put up,
yeah,
it's actually data that we've used from the RVIA that showed some of the reasons that people have abandoned their purchases through a dealership or buying their RV. And, one of the main things was that like 27% of people felt that the salesperson wasn't listening to their travel needs. They didn't pay attention to like, hey, listen, we don't want to go to crowded campgrounds. We don't want to pay over $100 to stay at an RV park per night. So they didn't purchase. Another one of those stats was just saying, I can't remember off that. I think it was maybe like 11 or 16%.
16% cost. Yeah.
The cost of camping. I mean, everything, Bernie, everything's expensive right now.
Oh, yeah.
Everything is expensive. So you talk about financing, you talk about the cost of the rig. Look, I mean, you look at that Airstream right there. That's over $100,000, right? So you're financing that, you're buying that Airstream. Plus, now you have to think about, I'm going to spend over $100 potentially a night to stay at an RV park or a campground. And so 16% of people say it's not worth it. I'm going to back out because I just don't have the money, or I don't want to pay more to camp. So Harvest Hosts is answering that question of like, if a dealership or a manufacturer offers a Harvest Host membership at the point of purchase, you're giving that customer thousands of places they can go free of charge. That's a huge, huge, huge selling point to help.
Oh, you're absolutely right. Camping originally is to be affordable vacations for you and your family, right? And now all of a sudden, it's financially, it's almost just only for the affluent. And it's not so much about the families, but Harvest Hosts kind of rewinds the clock a little bit and brings that back and gives people the opportunity to enjoy these lovely experiences. So while they're traveling to their inevitable destination, they can have as much or even more fun on the way than when they get to where they're going. And now they don't have to spend as many days at that final destination, and they can do that going and coming back as well. So say you go out for a week, you could spend 2 or 3 days going out, a couple of days there, 2 or 3 days coming back, and you've just had an amazing week of vacation, experiencing so many different types of things.
Yeah, and that's another great point is that we're not, Harvest Hosts is not here to replace campgrounds. We're not here to replace like traditional RV parks.
Right.
We are an alternative because it is about that experience. And one of the things that they found in the customer journey to getting RV purchases is that spark you have from a childhood of the memories of how I used to camp when I was a kid. Like I remember my dad used to take me to Green Lakes in upstate New York, and we would camp in a tent at the state park outside of Syracuse. It was free. And I'm in Texas now, and if I camp here in a tent, it's still going to cost me almost $100 just to do that in a state park. But those are those experiences you're trying to remember. So let's say you're going to go cross country and you want to go to Yosemite or you want to go to Yellowstone, and that's your destination. Go enjoy that. I mean, don't don't stop. Don't go to these national parks. Don't go to these, like, don't not go. That's a double negative. Still go to these places, but along the way, stay at a Harvest Host location.
Right.
Wake up at a winery, like experience those things that are the real reason you bought an RV, is for the experiences.
Right. Milk a cow, pick some grapes, whatever it may be,
Exactly.
shear an alpaca if you have the urge to.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's something for everyone. I think that's a big thing. It's like you say milking a cow, and I'm like, you know what? That might not be for me, but like I can find 4,900 other places to go, right? Like that's
Right.
the beauty of Harvest Hosts.
Yeah.
But for some families, that might be an extraordinary experience to have their kids better understand where food actually comes from.
We
It
see a lot of
comes from
families.
this cow.
Yeah, we see a lot of families utilizing Harvest Hosts and homeschooling. It's like
Right. It's an
like
educational.
supplementing education. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's a
Absolutely.
really beautiful thing.
So you mentioned it, touched upon it a little bit, Wilk. And Alyssa, would you be so kind to talk a little bit more about how Joe Holland, the owner and CEO of Harvest Host, he's developed a new app that actually helps campgrounds along the way, right? Camper card or something to that effect?
Yeah. Do you mean to take that, Will?
Yeah. He said Alyssa, so I mean, he threw
Alyssa
it right
and Will.
Yeah.
So Camper's Card, so Harvest Host, I guess we should back up a little bit. Harvest Host has been very busy over the past few years. We went from 1 product to 5 in our umbrella.
Okay.
So one of those products, like you mentioned, is Camper's Card, and that is our campground discount program. We have about 1,000 campgrounds in that program where you can find discounts. I believe the membership is $32 after the discounts we have on our site. And it lasts for a year, and discounts can range in percentage, but you also get other perks. So just like Harvest Hosts, you go to camperscard.com, you'll see the locations on the map and see if it's something that's suitable for you.
That's fantastic. Alyssa, I'm going to ask you to continue. Tell us a little bit more about specifically what you do for Harvest Hosts, and who do you help collaborate with? Is that a good sentence?
Yeah. So I work obviously on the partnerships team here at Harvest Hosts, and my job is to build bridges, make connections with everyone in the industry, ranging from manufacturers to component suppliers to influencers. Everything that you can think of, anyone that you can think of that has anything to do with RVing is on my radar.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, that's what I do for Harvest Hosts and all of our brands.
That's fantastic. And I'm going to go back to a slide for a minute, because the amazing benefits of what happens, what the benefits are to a dealership per se, and companies like Campers Inn, and you guys should all listen to this. If you're not doing this already, you really want to. Who wants to take this and go over the benefits to a dealership?
Yeah, I'll take this, and then I'll make it brief. You can see here, we've actually found that, and we have actual dealerships already doing this. Campers Inn being one of them.
Yeah, we're psyched about it.
Even to smaller mom and pop dealers, who may only have one door. They're offering Harvest Host memberships to their customers, either as a sales incentive, or they're using it as to build customer loyalty. We find that it helps build that experience. You'll see in a little bit that we have this free dealership kit we send that includes this beautiful banner that has Mark and Julie on it. That you can hang in your showroom,
by the way. Yeah.
rack cards. And what it does is you can use this. Imagine, I talk about an actual example that we have of a dealer who they were in the F&I process, and the wife was getting cold feet. They were actually they were getting a Grand Design RV. They were going through, the detailed list, and they were looking, okay. And obviously, as it goes, things start building up in price and cost, and she was getting cold feet. And the salesman, he actually pointed to our banner on the wall and said, "Don't forget about Harvest Hosts." And it was a picture of a winery and a couple enjoying a glass of wine with their rig.
Right.
And he was like, this is yours. You get to take this the second you leave, and you can do this. And I think at their location, there was like 75 host locations within 50 miles of where they were. And he was like,
it's amazing how concentrated this map of the American continent is. It's absolutely insane about what you guys do for these dealers and for the, I want to bring it back up because it is, look at, you guys are all way up into Canada. California is overrun, the whole Midwest and Northeast up into Nova Scotia, Newfoundland, Quebec, Ontario, the whole southern half of Canada is filled up with Harvest Host locations. It's just, and then, of course, everything is near something else, right? So you go to a Harvest Host location at night, and then you get up and for breakfast, you buy a dozen eggs and a block of cheese. And then you go out to the national park that's nearby or some great sightseeing venue because you guys are infiltrated. You're everywhere.
Yeah, and that's a testament to our recruiting team who are constantly in contact with these hosts and getting more and more people signed on. And one of their main priorities is you could see that we are heavily all over the continental US. And there are pockets that you may see that are a little empty, like, Nevada, for example. But that's because it's a desert. It's barren.
There's nothing there.
There's nothing there.
Not much out there.
Yeah,
if you like dust and tumbleweeds, let's go to Nevada.
It's Mad Max in that area, but if that's your vibe, go for it. But they are focusing on certain pockets where there may not be. So where you may see empty spaces, just know soon that those are going to be filled. And I do want to say this just because this is something that comes up a lot. And we talk about wineries and breweries. It's not focused just on alcohol. We have so many people who don't drink, who are not big drinkers, who enjoy this program because, again, we have over 5,500 host locations that you can visit, and they're not all alcohol based.
There's a lot of great museums. There's agricultural farms.
Exactly.
There's so much out there, and then, like you said, there's some of it is just like a good stop by, right? Some of it's a good place to visit because it should be on the bucket list. If it isn't, get it on there. And I recommend that everybody put Harvest Host as a big 5,500 location destination on their bucket list. I mean, what a great way to live a big chunk of your life is going from host location to host location.
Yeah,
exactly. When you say it like that, it sounds so expensive, but I think people will be surprised to know it's less than $100 a year. Like that's it.
It's like you're basically giving it away. So if you use it 5 times, it's like $18 a visit at most. But if you use it 100 times, it's less than $1 a visit. So use it, right?
But again, backing up to what we're saying is that some of these dealerships that we're partnering with, and we offer, Harvest Host offers a highly discounted bulk rate for dealerships to purchase memberships. I mean, we're talking a very significant amount that they can give out these memberships to their customers. So their customers aren't paying that already. This is a thank you for purchasing through us. And so,
the dealership will buy a block of memberships and you give that dealership a substantial discount. So it's not overly taxing when it comes down to deal per deal. It's probably only a few bucks a deal, right? So it's really beneficial to them.
With the way that it works, and I'll tell you, for example, because I've worked for manufacturers and worked with dealerships for a while. Depending on the amount they purchase, they make their money back by selling one rig.
Wow.
A dealership, that's how significant the discounted rate is.
And that's buying a lot. That's not buying like 10 memberships at a time.
No, we're talking hundreds.
Yeah,
they're selling. Most dealerships are selling several hundred units a year anyway, so that makes all the sense in the world.
Yeah.
So, Alyssa, tell us the benefits of, say, a social media person, influencer, or someone of that nature. What kind of benefits would they have by collaborating with Harvest Hosts?
So we do a lot of different collaborations with influencers. We do photo shoots, as you can see all over our deck. Those are photo shoots with folks that do not work at Harvest Hosts, but fully believe in Harvest Hosts. If you go back to that first slide on our presentation, you can see that photo of Mark and Julie again. We do that in a lot of ways. We also, I think one of the most organic ways that we work with people, and this isn't necessarily influencers, but anyone in the Harvest Host network that uploads a beautiful photo to our platform, we'll reach out and we'll purchase that photo from them. Like, we don't want it to feel like we've created something and we've told someone to say like, hey, we like this. Like, we want to show people who actually do enjoy this with our product. That comes through. We want it to be very organic. We have a referral program. We found that when folks talk about Harvest Hosts to their friends are like, yeah, that sounds great, because it's fun. It's a cool way to travel. And I think one of the interesting things about Harvest Hosts that people don't typically talk about is, you know, if you're traveling with a caravan of folks, it's really hard to go to campgrounds and say, we want 5 people to come in and we want to be near each other. But with Harvest Hosts, you can do that. You can say, I want to go to these places that have 5 parking spots and 5 of us are coming and we can stay together and we can have a party every night. Like, I think that's the beauty of Harvest Hosts. We talk about community being a big aspect, and it is for the RVer as well. We want the RVers to build community.
No, that brings up a good point, because a lot of people, when they camp with many people at the same time. You know, it is they're going with their gang, with their posse, or whatever it may be, and they're hanging out. You know, it's amazing what Harvest Hosts has and is doing for the RV industry, for the people that buy RVs, for the people that just love RVing, for dealerships. And you also partner with manufacturers as well, I'm sure. And you partner with all different types of people that are associated with the RV industry. And Harvest Hosts, from day one, has been the king of collaboration. And that makes Harvest Hosts a true RV game changer. And I know it sounds a little hokey, but this is the real deal, folks. And if you want to get involved in something like Harvest Hosts, whether you're collaborating or you're using their product, you know, it is well worth the price of admission. I'm going to bring up a slate again because I want the people to connect with both Will and Alyssa about this. So take a look here. It's partners at harvesthosts.com, and you can take a look at their whole website. Now, obviously, you're not going to have membership accessibility, but you can go on there and scan through and see just about everything that we've seen today, and a lot more. You can kind of break it down even a little bit more. But, I can't thank you folks enough for coming in today. It's been an absolute pleasure of having both of you on RV Game Changer. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bernie. We appreciate it. Yeah.
All right. And we're going to do a little out here. And you guys have a great rest of your day. And I want to thank Will and Alyssa for coming down to RV Game Changer today. Join them at harvesthosts.com. This is the RV Game Changer. If you want to participate in RV Game Changer, please reach out to me, Uncle Bernie, at rvgamechanger@gmail.com. You can reach me also on Facebook, Bernie Culleton, Instagram, Uncle Bernie the RV Guy, LinkedIn, Bernie Culleton, and please follow me on YouTube, Uncle Bernie Culleton. This is RV Game Changer. Have a wonderful week, and God bless.